Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got a game in the new Tier 5 Russian cruiser Makarov. And there's the Kuznetsov build, slightly altered for the ship. I normally have EOP on there, moved it over to that second slot perk. I don't even know what that does. I think it might cycle the reload, but I very rarely use that one. So I do know that it extends the range when you're near your team. We're going to see that right off the bat. But stats-wise, it's kind of hard for me to compare this to the Nuremberg, which is essentially what it was, a repurposed Nuremberg sold to the Soviets, presumably at the conclusion of the war, or whenever the Germans needed some cash. Either way, I don't have any clue. But the main difference is, for our purposes, since this is a video game, AA, much improved on this. Two less torpedo launchers. You only have two per side, or one per side here, two per side on the Nuremberg. Now, Nuremberg, usually you want to keep that thing away from everything except for destroyers. So how often you're going to be torping with the Nuremberg, I don't know. But if you're ever getting rushed by a battleship, having an extra torpedo launcher definitely helps. So anyway, this game is pretty wild. It's one of the tightest finishes that I can remember playing, and it's a pretty interesting game. So hopefully you guys want to stick around till the end. I think you're going to enjoy this one. But getting back to the stats, there may be minor tweaks here and there, but for the most part, I think most of those are attributable to the build. Maybe just a little bit of 0.1 plus here for the Nuremberg, 0.1 plus here for the Makarov, that type of adjustment. So again, primarily much better AA, and we do have a carrier in this game, and he is going to be trying to kill me, so we will see the AA in action. But here we are starting off the bat. Now, note this destroyer on my team's coming right by me. That extends our range. That's what we're talking about with that legendary tier perk. Again, I really, frankly, don't know what it does, except for extending the range here. But that's going to put the Brittany in range of us. Now, look what I did here. Nuremberg / Makarov, extremely brittle. And we got a lot of ships to the north of us. So because I wanted to attack this Brittany here, I parked by this island, making sure that we're angled towards the Brittany, and then we got the broadside covered by that island. Now the plane's already coming in for us, trying to get after us, but why are we putting a premium on the Brittany? There's only one battleship this game. Anytime you're in a game and you only have one, excluding the carrier, you're obviously going to only have one of those, but if you have one destroyer, even more valuable than the destroyer normally is one cruiser. Likewise, the value goes up the rarer it is in the composition. So if we got a game like this where we got a lot of cruisers sailing around, if we can get rid of that battleship early, that's going to make it easier for our team. But once that ship on our team got out, we lost that extended range. Now we notice the Leander squirting forward here. So we're going to be trying to maintain cover with this island, giving ourselves the option of disengaging. But we're peppering them with AP here, and we're getting some pretty decent results. Now, this game, I think we get about 150k damage or something like this. I mean, you can pump out the damage in the Nuremberg and certainly the Makarov. But, you know, the AP, generally, if you're getting broadside cruisers, I'd go ahead and at least try it for a couple salvos. You only got about a 5.5 second reload, whatever it is. So it definitely behooves you to take a couple shots. If you're not getting adequate results or they begin angling, then just go ahead and switch back to the HE. And again, if you're going to spec a build just for the ship, I'm pretty sure it has the quarter penetration for HE as opposed to the 6 penetration. The Germans have enhanced HE penetration. I should rephrase that to make it less confusing. And I believe, according to the PC wiki, that carries over to this thing as well. So that's why I switched the build up for this one. We're going to be trying to hit these destroyers. They're pretty long range, you know, worth taking these shots, but not the easiest targets to hit. We got more torpedoes coming in here. The carrier either recognizes me and wants me out of there, or for some reason maybe he sees the brand new ship and he's thinking, I'm going to take out this wallet warrior. Whatever his thought process is, he's definitely focused on me early on. But you can see we're racking up, shooting down a lot of planes here. We're dodging the torps. Started off with the steering gears mod on here, but you got to have prop mod on the Nuremberg / Makarov. If any battleship decides they want to aim at you and pull the trigger, you got to be able to get moving. I started off with the steering gears. I didn't get one shot, but I got wrecked a couple times by these battleships, so I decided prop mod's the way to go. And that's helping us dodge these torps as well, because the torpedoes from the plane's very slow, at least for these lower tier carriers, and we're able to kind of dodge our way out of those without taking any significant damage. Now the Jaguar over there, he's kind of stuck on the island. We're going to take a couple shots, trade off between him and Brittany. You can see we're up to 50k, so we've almost doubled our ship's HP and damage about a third of the game in, not even that far into the game. And we're going to go wind up burning this Brittany down and get the arsonist here, I believe, any moment. So pretty decent start in terms of our raw damage. Now, in terms of our team's performance, we're down a couple cruisers. They're down the battleship, and once again, the battleship is of elevated importance in a high cruiser count game. So I think our opening performance as a team pretty decent. Now, Gady is rushing a T-61. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't notice he's extremely low health, and the T-61 extremely high health. So I don't know why he thought that would be a smart idea. If he thought, well, I'm going to smoke sonar this guy, the T-61's got the same setup. He's got, same torpedoes, faster reloading. I mean, that advantage T-61 all day, every day in terms of that fight, as far as I'm concerned. Takes him down, and now we're just going to kind of be angling towards the north here. You can see this Königsberg, he's not paying attention to us, so I'm going to flash him a little bit of broadside, but I want to angle against these cruisers. And you can see we got some shots coming in from the north there. But we're going to go ahead and start off with the HE. That's what we had loaded. You always want to discharge your load that you have ready to go all over your opponent. Once that hits them, then you want to switch over to the appropriate shell if you're attempting to switch shells. So we got AP out there, got a nice Citadel shot. Jaguar pops up, of course. Destroyers, much more important than cruisers, so we're going to go ahead and target him. He's also coming in at us, which makes it an easier shot. It's not like he's a 14-kilometer guy that's sailing away. That's a very difficult destroyer shot. T-61 pops up here. We got a double destroyer action here. Gonna turn away here, pop the sonar there, begin to take evasive maneuvers. Pretty dangerous here. We do want to angle against these ships because the T-61's got decent AP, especially if you're close range cruiser. Jaguar, same situation there. Good job getting out of there. Now we kind of turned a little bit too early, so we're going to turn back and make sure that we actually evade those torps, because we recognize we had just enough time to dodge the whole pack of those torps rather than trying to fit in between a gap there. So almost biffed it on that torp dodge, but luckily we got out of there alive. T-61 somehow squirts out of his smoke, or somehow he's getting spotted, and doesn't matter to me how it is. We're going to fire at him there. Go ahead and take him down. Pensacola back range. He's flying out of there. Now we're down 4 ships. They got, what do they got? 6. So we're in trouble here in terms of the game. 300 points to 446. So the game's not looking too hot at this juncture. We both have our carriers. And then we got 1 destroyer. And we still got our battleship, which is nice. But look what he's doing. He's kind of off there up to the north, trying to fight all those guys by himself. Now, 1v1 battleship versus cruiser, of course, that's a matchup the battleship's going to relish all day long. But if you got a plane spotting you like that, and you got all these island covers, you can see none of those cruisers are spotted. They can kind of swarm him and pepper him with the HE or whatever else. If they get AP broadside shots, they can take him down. So here we got the Jaguar. He's being spotted by the plane. Great job by the plane, keeping him lit there. Having a little bit of trouble previously lobbing over that island, but we eventually took him out. 3rd kill there. We got this British cruiser, I believe, coming in hot. I don't know if he's making a beeline for the carrier. Down goes our Texas. Unfortunately, Montecacholi torped him somehow with this very slow torps. So that's an unfortunate loss there. But Leander coming in hot here. Now, I'm trying to basically swing around here. I want to move into him, but I also want to prepare these guns to be firing rearward. So I'm continuing to basically line up into a circular motion here. I'm going to see if we can squeeze over a shot over this island. Doesn't look like it's going to work, but doesn't really bother us with a 5-second reload. If we miss the shot or if it hits the island, go ahead and take it, because we already got the guns loaded and there's nothing to shoot at the moment here. So we got the preemptive torps down in case he comes around that island, maintaining his speed. Now I'm looking at the map there. He looks pretty broadside at the moment, but he's going to swing into an angling position right there at the last moment. Gets a couple ricochets, which protected his citadel, no doubt. If he would have come over broadside, problematic. Now here's the biggest problem in this game here. We got Fubuki on one hand, and it's a Fubuki that's shooting his guns. What in the heck is going on here? You very rarely see that. He's open watering me at the moment. Now I would not normally recommend destroyers trying to gun down cruisers, especially cruisers with nasty 5-second reloads. in the open water, but he recognizes that the Leander is causing problems for me. Eventually, I'm like, all right, we got to kill this guy if our team's going to have any chance. If I go down here and the destroyer is still running amok, that could be problematic. You always want to, if you're getting low on health or you think you're in a dangerous situation and you got time to make the decision, oh, look at those planes coming in here. If you got time to make the decision, okay, if I can do one last thing before I go, what's going to help our team the most? Killing that destroyer would have been it. He's out of our torp range at the moment, so we're in trouble there. Looks like they got the Leander. I don't know if it was the plane or the destroyer. Either way, we're currently getting plane spotted. Currently broadside to the Fubuki. He can cause a lot of problems for us. So I'm going to see there where he is. We're attempting to blind fire him there. Swerving, dodging, bobbing and weaving, getting these torps out of here, shooting down planes. Missed the guy. And now if we can get that plane out of here, I want to stop shooting and force that guy to leave the cloud. Because if he can just sit in that cloud shooting me, either because we're smoke fire penalty or because the plane's spotting us and we can't shoot back, well, then we're in trouble. So I'd love it if my destroyer would go towards the base at the moment here, because this game, as you're going to see, is going to be very tight in points all the way to the very end, as tight as you can possibly get. But whether he can get past a cruiser and a carrier or not, I don't know. But I'm thinking that he should recognize I can control the base, right? The Fubuki's not going to cap the base as long as I'm here, and the Fubuki's not long for this world. He got a little greedy, he figured, all right, this cruiser's low enough, I can probably gun him down, which sometimes might work, but not if you got another destroyer in the area and planes permanently spotting you. So as soon as he left that cloud, he's kind of in trouble. Up to 4 kills here. We got 3 ships to 2 at this point in time. Look at the score. We're in control of this game. All we got to do at this point in time, not die. But unfortunately, my team does not recognize that situation. And I understand with the plane flying around spotting you, easier said than done. But the carrier actually goes ahead and gets the Fubuki. And there we got some widespreads. I'm assuming those are from the Fubuki. We'll go ahead and breathe a sigh of relief there. But now the score's tied. And I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to beat a full health Pensacola or a 3/4 health Pensacola with 5k on this thing? That ain't going to go well. And then at that moment, I'm like, what in the bloomin' H is this guy doing? He's meandering into the ships. Now, at this point, if you guys ever seen me stream, you probably know what sort of language I'm using at this point in time. And then Pensacola pulls off. I had already angled away, with the last-ditch effort of, okay, maybe if I can kite this guy, maybe I can beat him. But now I can't. I got to turn back into that mess, and we got the carrier basically pushing into another carrier and a cruiser. So advantage red all of a sudden. Even though we're tied in the score here, I was a little bit disheartened by the situation. But, once I stop freaking out, which is going to take a couple minutes, then I'm going to actually notice that their carrier's doing the same thing. What is going on, guys? I know carriers are relatively new, but controlling your position on the map is going to be a big part of it. Okay, so yes, you want to be close. You don't want to be all the way in Timbuktu or on the moon where it takes your planes 30 minutes to get into the action, but you also don't want to be killing yourself for no reason. So all of a sudden I noticed that the Ranger's doing the same bonehead play that our guy's doing, and I'm like, okay, well, here we go. If I can kill this guy, maybe we got a shot. And maybe, you see that, looked like the carrier is trying to torp the Pensacola, which is interesting. I don't think he hit him there, but if he potentially whacks him, and I can finish this guy off, then maybe we can still win this game. I'm angled away from the Pensacola. He's fighting the carrier, but I cannot allow the situation to arise where he notices that I'm pushing in or that I'm making some sort of vulnerable play here, because he can one-shot us pretty easily if we make any sort of angling mistake or positional mistake. So even though I think at the end of the match it's going to potentially affect the outcome, at this moment I'm like, all right, we got to stay alive here because our carrier is for sure going to die. We need to kill their guy. We got the planes coming in back, at us. So I'm just going to be trying to bob and weave here, see if we can dodge that thing and take this guy out. But we got to assume our carrier is going down. And at this point in time, we've actually whittled down their carrier. So just a couple of people playing the carriers that aren't paying attention. Pensacola coming in. And at this point in time, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. My trigger finger is about to fall off. I've just been slamming the thing nonstop. And we're actually going to hit the guy. And we're actually going to set him on fire here in a salvo or two. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm still kiting. I'm like, all right, let this guy push into me. But you see here, we got a minute left on the clock. And all of a sudden, he drops spot. He's not shooting. I'm still trying to blind fire these shots. We just shot down the last remaining planes. So once we stop shooting for 20 seconds, then our detectability will contract as it just did there. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm not playing for a draw. That's not... I play for wins. I don't play for draws. So I'm like, I got to push into this guy. Unfortunately, he's playing for the draw. And that's going to be very unfortunate. But I'm going to try and coax him into shooting. Okay, so I'm like, if he's coming at me full bore here, maybe I'll spot him. Maybe I can hit him once or twice quick and take him down. He doesn't do that. So we're going to shoot, extending our visibility, trying to entice him to shoot back. But he's not in range. He's backing up. He's playing for the draw. And that was very disappointing. So I guess we didn't get 150. We got 143. But still, pretty fun game to play. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. That's the look at the Makarov for you. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. We got lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.